It's that part of the show where we get to learn how to pronounce words and get the right pronunciation of those words. We're now going to speak to Willis, the word master. Good evening, Willis. It's good to see you after quite some time.
Good evening, Joy, and it's wonderful to have you back because, you're known for doing it the flowing way. It flows naturally, and that is exactly what we've watched since you started tonight's Friday briefing. So how has your leave or your off been, Joy?
It's been amazing, Willis. I wanted to use the expression because that's what ladies are using these days.
I know. Very, very common almost everywhere.
Right. But well, I'm happy to be back, and we're now going to kick it off by taking a look at word in the street, right?
That's right.
Kojirad. Kojired. Kogad. Concealed. Congealed. Conclude.
Complete. Congear.
Willis, that one, I don't know.
Yes, Joy.
Is it congealed? Congealed?
Well, Joy, in the first place, this is a word that is not very frequent, in terms of usage, depending on, the people who use, the English words, or that is the English vocabulary. In the first place, to congeal means, to become thick or solid. Like when we are talking about fat or we are talking about blood. Now we say congealed.
Right.
Congealed. All those versions which we have listened to, in fact, they have tried. And sometimes making a mistake leads to getting it right.
Yeah.
That is, if you are ready to learn. So even when we laugh a bit, we love to keep the lesson going. But as I always say, we should not laugh at somebody because we may not be sure how good our pronunciation could be or how accurate we could be. But the pronunciation of that word, my dear sister, is congealed. Congealed, yes.
It's congealed. It's not congealed.
I have even had complete, congealed,
Concealed.
and so many versions. But it happens on the streets. You may have it that way, but that is not to say that the so-called Mama Mboga may not pronounce a word that Willis may be bitten in pronouncing. So, pronunciations can be very tricky, Joy.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. And we're all not perfect. So now let's take a look at some curious words here. Acoustics. What exactly is the word?
Oh, we are talking about the scientific study of sounds, in this case, Joy, if I'm not wrong. That is Acoustics. We say acoustics. Like we talk of acoustic treatment. When we have like a room that is, well designed, especially, when we talk of broadcasting, that room where we have, the casting room, normally we have that acoustic treatment so that the quality of the sound comes out nicely. But when we talk of acoustics, we are also talking about the scientific study of sounds. Acoustics, not acoustics.
All right. And so do you use the word acoustic, say, if we are going to refer to your voice? would we say an acoustic voice, or it only applies to sound?
It applies to sounds, and especially with that kind of treatment. When you have, for instance, when somebody is designing a room with what blocks, that sound or the echoes and all that, we talk of acoustic treatment. But when we also talk of, we can use it as that adjective that also refers to the quality of that sound of a voice. There's no problem with that.
All right, let's now take a look at some other words. The word, is it serene, serene? There are people, if we've had words like concealed for congealed, I'm sure some people would say serene.
Yes.
So is it serene,
There are those
serene?
who may find themselves. Yes, some people may talk of serene. That is what we see. And that is why I've been cautioning people against pronouncing every English word from what your eyes see. Because I have, occasionally talked about cupboard. Cupboard. When you look at that word very closely, you may end up, saying cupboard, but it's cupboard. Cupboard. Now, this one is serene, serene, but you say serenity.
And so you don't confuse the words serene, serenity.
Yes.
All right. Bureaucracy. There are people who say bureaucracy. It's probably something to do with the fact that they cannot pronounce R and L. But what would be the best pronunciation for this word?
Linguistically speaking, Joy, at that point when you talk of L and R, those are now what we call the fluids in phonetics.
Yeah.
When we have air, that stream of air flowing on both sides of the tongue, now you may find also in certain languages, sound, that sound L may not be there, or sound R may not be there. So those cognate sounds, L and R, the sounds which are produced from the same position or in almost the same way, but have different qualities. Somebody may say bureaucracy, but in most cases, what is common in terms of mispronunciation is bureaucracy. Very common. Somebody may talk of biru, then goes ahead to say bureaucracy, which is inaccurate. You say bureaucracy, bureaucracy, and we say a bureau, not a biru.
Okay. It's bureaucracy and a bureau.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Great. Got it. So do you say either, or either? If there are any people who say that.
Yes, the first two are acceptable as alternative pronunciations of that word. You can say either, you can also say either. Either and either are acceptable pronunciations of that word. What we should avoid is saying either. Joy, sometimes certain pronunciations sound unique, and I'm saying unique in quotes, because you may think it's unique, it's exciting, it's attractive, but it's better to be keen on accurate pronunciation, that which is accurate, not that which is amazing, not that which is, would leave people mesmerized, not that which is like you feel it's unique. Just get it right. The sounds in words, in terms of units and sequences, very important for you to get them right, because that is when you'd communicate clearly and effectively. So style, too much style, or being too artificial with your accent sometimes may not bring out the correct or accurate pronunciation of a word. Don't strive or struggle to sound unique. Just struggle to communicate by pronouncing words correctly. So we say either or either.
Either or either. It's not either.
That is it. And
Great.
remember, you can also say neither and neither. Neither and neither. But not neither. Neither, no.
Okay. I love how you say no. Like there's a double O over there. All right. Let's move on now.
Now, what happens, it has what we call a slight vowel glide. No, go, so,
All right.
So those are, if we are taught about the English phonology, we would always get that right.
Does that also apply
But
to
that is
two?
a by the way.
Does it apply to two as well? When you say
No.
two, no.
Two, you say two.
Okay.
You also do.
Okay.
To do. To do something. To. But this is no.
No.
So, and all that. That one, if you find somebody who is, conversant with what we call now the phonology of English, then
Okay.
that person would tell you about what we call the irregular spellings and pronunciations in English.
Ah, the phonology of English. All right.
Yes.
Let's now take a look at other words. Let's see. We have a word, camaraderie. Camaraderie. There are people who pronounce it differently, depending on what schools they went to, but maybe you can
Yes.
help us pronounce it right.
Simply camaraderie. Camaraderie.
Camaraderie.
So you say raderie towards the end.
Camaraderie.
That is it.
Great.
Joy.
Ah, even I didn't know that one. Camaraderie. All right. Is it species?
happens.
Yeah. Is it species? Is it species? Is it species? What exactly is it?
Joy, we say species. Species.
Really?
The first
Is
E
that
takes
species?
the long vowel sound E. Spee. You don't say spare.
Okay.
Species. Species. Not species. Not species. Species. And remember, we also say series, not series.
Okay.
Series.
Uh-huh.
So the first E takes the long vowel sound E.
So you don't say species, because I think today I said species. I got that wrong, right?
Oh, that C,
Yeah.
letter C takes the sound sh in that word. But many people say it's species. Joy, letter C takes sound sh in special,
Okay.
precious, official, and all that. But it
Species.
also takes the sound s in center, central,
Yeah.
cell, city. The same letter C takes sound k. That is like a K in coconut, crocodile, cup, cat, and it also takes the sound sh in. That is sound ch.
Species. Yes.
Sound ch in concerto. That is in music. So letter C has 4 sound values, which may be very, very crucial for somebody who is keen on getting the sounds right. But
Great.
take it easy, because nobody, not even Willis, is perfect.
All right. So species. I got that right. All right.
Species. That is the
Species.
correct pronunciation.
All right. So when people have a running stomach, sometimes it's referred to, not sometimes, it is referred to as diarrhea.
Yes, that
So
is the pronunciation.
which of the two is it? Diarrhea?
Diarrhea. 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 The most common mispronunciation locally is diarrhea. Diarrhea, which is, in fact, that should not be used. You say diarrhea.
Diarrhea. Diarrhea. Diarrhea. It's the same thing actually with cholera and cholera. Now that we're talking about
Yeah,
diseases.
Cholera
Okay.
or cholera.
Cholera.
Cholera, yes.
Okay. All right. Got it. Angelic. Angelic.
Yes, that's a very
A-N-G-E-L-I-C.
tricky one, Joy.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a very tricky word, because when we talk of inflection, that is changing the form of a word for grammatical function, sometimes it's a bit tricky, because we have angel and angel, but we don't say angelic or angelic. You say angelic, angelic, and angelic.
Oh, great.
When you're described, that is now the adjective, angelic.
Angelic.
Yes.
You don't even say angelic, it's angelic?
No. It's
Wow.
angelic.
Okay. All right.
But don't say angel. You say angel.
All right, Willis, I will not say Angel. Okay, so what about the name? Do you say Angela? Do you say Angela? You know, now that we're using
Yeah,
words, they're
Angela.
almost the same.
Angela.
It's Angela.
Angela. You just say Angela. Yes, Angela. Now, what happens with that name?
Yeah.
You have that the sound n and j. They, you have that sound g following n very closely. So you say Angela, Angela. So it's
Angela.
like it's close to nja, nj, nja, nj, nja, Angela, but it's
Angela.
n, j, successively. Yes, Angela.
All right. Okay, so now let's look at some feedback queries here. There are quite a number of them. I'm sure you have collected a lot of them. But
Yes,
Patricia, should I
some
leave that to you
good
or
list.
should I read
Yes.
out one? Patricia.
No, just carry on. Tell me which one is that?
All right, Patricia is asking, how do you pronounce Haven? Is it haven? Is it heaven? Is it heaven? How do you pronounce it?
Oh, she's talking about a place that is safe and peaceful and usually used
far
to
away.
protect people or animals.
Yes.
Or
Or
haven.
or money.
Haven. You say haven, not haven.
Yeah.
Haven is haven, a haven. And Patricia Marwa of Kehancha, Korea, if I'm not wrong, that must be the person who asked about that
Yes,
question.
that's Patricia Mara. Yes, you got it right.
Yes, Patricia Marwa, and our dear viewers, you say haven. Haven. Don't say haven of peace. Say haven. Haven of peace. Now, some Kiragori,
Yeah.
you say couple. A couple, not couple. The couple. Don't say the couple. Many people say couple, but it's couple. So Kiragori Sam, there you are. Mwalimu Katebes Saddam Kibet of Baringo, you say Oka, an Oka. Don't say Okre, an Oka, O-C-H-R-E. But remember, O-G-R-E is Oga, an Oga, not an Ogre. Then you also say
Okar.
Macabra, Macabra, not Macabre.
Right.
Not Makeba, not Macabre. You say Macabra. Then Thaddeus Makori, if you like, you can say Thaddeus. That is especially in the Catholic Church.
I actually wanted to
Thaddeus
ask you
Makori
about
or
that.
Thaddeus Makori. You say a cake, and haphazard. Don't say haphazard. And there is something that Joy wanted to ask me, if I'm not wrong. What is it,
Yes,
Joy?
yes, Willis. Just like you said, Thaddeus or Thaddeus. There's also the name. We have a reporter.
In English, you say Thaddeus.
Thaddeus.
You have a reporter?
Yes, we have a reporter called Tobias, but we usually,
Yes.
half the time we'll actually say Tobias. So is it Tobias? Is it Tobias?
Yes, many people talk of Tobias. That is what we see. But you say Tobias.
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 Got it.
Isaiah, not Isaiah. What we see is Isaiah, but it's Isaiah.
All right.
Jeremiah.
Okay.
Don't
All
say
right.
Jeremiah. So Thaddeus, Tobias. Okay.
All right,
Now,
Willis, carry
Collins
on.
Obis, 14. You say mandatory, not mandatory. Mandatory. But remember, you can also say mandatory. Mandatory as an alternative pronunciation of that word. Mandatory or mandatory. Collins Obis, there you are, and our dear viewers. Jeffrey Mwangi. Joy, you don't say Joffrey or Joffrey, as many people say locally.
Yeah.
You say Jeffrey. Jeffrey Mwangi, the pronunciation of that word is sovereign, a sovereign state. Don't say sovereign. And you say sovereignty, not
Yeah.
sovereignty. Sovereignty, no. Sovereignty. But the first one, sovereign, not sovereign. Ahmed Guhad of Garissa, you say charade, a charade, not a charade, not a charade, not a charade.
Right.
Or charade, avoid it.
Okay.
Say charade.
Charade.
Zachary Ochieng,
Charade.
lieutenant. Lieutenant, that is in British English. If you are inclined to American English, you can say lieutenant. lieutenant. But in British English, you say lieutenant. Lieutenant.
Okay.
Then Henry Ratemo, Evans Ondieki, Mapere Atika, and Evelyn. Oh, thank you so much for loving KTN. You say welcome home. We also say that is where you'll get the whole story. So Henry Ratemo, Evans Ondieki, Mapere Atika, and Evelyn. Then Roger Habimana of Kibungo, Rwanda. Oh, our brothers and sisters in Rwanda, thank you so much for keeping it Friday briefing. Roger Habimana, you say Achilles. Achilles. Don't say Achilles. Say Achilles.
And you don't say Achilles?
Dr. Kenneth Wameo. Yes, many people say Achilles, 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 and all that, but you say Achilles. That is the name Achilles. So, a very tricky name, Joy,
yes,
but we say
indeed.
Achilles.
Achilles.
Mohafanki of Wajir or Wajia, you are thanking us, keep it up. Then Dr. Kenneth Wameo, Unita Agengo, Njoroge Kibai, thank you. We also love you that much. Then Sami Mwada of Muranga, a very tricky word. Don't say solilo kui. Solilo kui. Say soliloquy. Soliloquy, not kai. Don't say soliloquy.
Yeah.
Soliloquy. No. Just say qui straight.
Right.
Soliloquy, not soliloquy, not soliloquy. And I think we should now go to the surprise word of the night.
All right. Willis, before we go to the surprise word, there are quite some interesting questions here. You know, when people are pronouncing the number 3, there are people who say 3,
yes,
and others say 3, others say 3,
yes,
you know, others say 3. So which one is it? Is it 3? Is it 3? Is it 3?
Joy, you must have realized that, there is something we call that T and H. When you have two letters combining to represent one sound, in linguistics or in phonetics, or if you may call it now phonology for this matter, we may talk of a digraph. Two letters combining to represent one sound.
Right.
So it's a bit tricky because T and H has two sound values. You can say, like in 30, and that 3. But certain communities, when you write T and H, it will be the voiced sound the, like in Dambi. Like you tell somebody to say telatini in Kiswahili, telatini. The person ends up saying deladini. So if you say 3,
right?
Yes, if you say 3, that person will say dri or diri. That is from first language or mother tongue influence, which is nobody's wish or not anybody's liking. Can I surprise you with one from my place?
Yes, please go ahead.
Social, when you tell us to say social, you may hear something like social. Instead of social.
Right.
Because sound sh is not in Luo language. If you tell us to say shemeji, you may hear of semeji. So it happens with almost every community, my dear sister. But thank you for asking. It's
all right.
3.
And so
3. Can we go to the surprise word?
Yes, please. Let's go to the surprise word.
Yes. Fine. Can you try this one just a bit? Because as we always say, we are all learning.
All right,
Can you try this one?
Give me 2 takes. Cohesion and cohesion.
Yes, that is it. It's cohesion. Cohesion. What we should avoid is cohesion. Cohesion is what we see, but you say cohesion. And remember, we also say cohesive, not cohesive. Cohesive, cohesion, not cohesive, cohesion. Many people say cohesion. That one I can tell you for free, and I believe you can bear me witness that many people say cohesion, and that is wrong. That is inaccurate. We should say cohesion. We also say adhesive and adhesion. Adhesion, adhesive, not adhesive, adhesion. Those ones we should avoid them. And we say adhere, not adhere, and not adhere. If anybody says are there or are there, help the person, but in good faith. Tell the person to say, can you say adhere?
Okay.
Adhere, not adhere, not adhere. And then finally, we have two confusing words.
Which?
The first one is W-A-R-Y. You say wary. Wary, to be wary, not to be worry.
Okay.
Worry, no. Worry is the lower word. You say worry. Don't worry. That is the lower word. W-O-R-R-Y, worry. But W-A-R-Y, wary. To be wary of something. To be careful, to be wary of something, to avoid something. Then when you have W-E-A-R-Y, you now say weary. That is of being tired. Weary.
Oh, okay, great.
Weary,
Yes.
not weary. It
Weary.
appears to be weary, but you say weary. And
Worry.
Joy Doreen Bira, you know what?
What is it?
English should be English. Kiswahili should be
Be
Kiswahili.
Kiswahili.
But
Okay.
nobody can be perfect.
All right.
Kiswahili is Kiswahili, English is English, and any other language, the essence of any language is communication.
Great. All right, Willis, it's been real. Thank you so much. We do appreciate. Always
You're
a
welcome.
pleasure learning how to pronounce words, getting the right pronunciation. So thank you so much. All right, Willis. So how do we get in touch with you, by the
Reach
way?
me. It's at Willis Ochieng 1. That is on Twitter, at Willis Ochieng 1. And my name, by the way, is Willis with double L-I-C-E. Willis.
Okay.
A variant spelling of W-I-L-L-I-S. But mine is what some people, sometimes say Willice, which is not the case. It's Willis Ochieng 1 on Twitter.
Okay. All right, Willis, thank you so much. You are the word master. It's been real. We do appreciate. And get in touch with Willis on Twitter and on Facebook, I suppose. Coming up next is KTN Sports. Do stay with us.